everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to pull a flywheel off of a crankshaft. That sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But we found one that is the most difficult one I've ever seen, so I thought I would share it with you. So I'm over at a buddy's house a couple weeks ago, and he's got a 650 Kawasaki stand-up, and he's got the crankcases all laying there, and he's got the flywheel puller all set up, and he can't get the flywheel off. So we break the torch out, and we get the thing nice and hot, and it just does not give at all. I explained to him the best way to take this thing apart. What we do is there's magnets here on the flywheel. I'll show you guys later, but the magnets have separations between them. You drill a hole between the magnets, okay? And then you can put a screwdriver in there and you can unscrew the stator. So he didn't break his $250 OEM stator. I was very proud of him. So he did that, took the screw out, rotated the crankshaft 180 degrees and took the other screw out. And then he was able to separate the cases away from this in order to get a better look at it. And then obviously he put it in his press and was still unable to remove it. As you can see, there's a dimension. The flywheel has bent now, and it's taken many tons of pressure to do this. And the flywheel is still not yielding. Now, as you can see, the starter ring gear has yielded, and the outer perimeter of the flywheel has yielded, but it just is not, it's refusing to let go. And in the process of all this, of course, he's now losing money. He's spent so many hours on it that he's like, you know, I don't know what to do. I need to think about this and regroup. So I said, hey, don't spend too much time on it. I'll take it, and I'll see what I can do. It'll be a good video to show you guys, and he can kind of stand back and take a minute, because while most shops will shortcut other avenues to make up for lost income, he quoted the job, and he gets what he gets. He's an honorable guy, so he you know, I know him. He'll just accept those losses and move on, and I'm proud of him for that. But I said, hey, I can help you out. Let me do what I can do. You've spent enough time on it, and that way you can at least get some loss recovery out of it. And I get a good video out of it. I can show you guys what's going on. The tool we're going to be using today is a hydraulic press. Hydraulic press takes oil, a liquid, in this case oil, and it compresses it. You don't compress liquid. Liquid wants to move. So you take a smaller cylinder and you compound it into a larger cylinder over and over, and you get pressure. This press is rated at 50 ton. That's 100,000 pounds. Now, it's poor practice if you need a 50 ton press to get a 50 ton. You always want to upsize. Crankshafts and automobile stuff that we do is never really more than 20-25 ton, which is half of the rated pressure on this. And that's a safer practice. When you start putting stuff at the very edge of its abilities over and over and over, eventually fatigue will set in and something will fail. With failures comes either hospitalization or sometimes fatal results. We don't want that. So we're going to use a 50 ton press. And as you can see, my gauge here is below zero. The reason it's below zero is because as you're pressing stuff and you get something under a very heavy load and it gives suddenly, the gauge will come down and it'll slam the bottom. So you could mathematically figure out how many times I've slammed the bottom of my press. And what happens is it slowly falls below zero. So you have to do that as a corrective factor. And I'm about 4 tons below zero. So when my gauge reads zero, that's actually 4 ton. First thing I went and did is I went and found some scrap in my back scrap pile, because I'm not going to reuse this. This is going to be a once and lost deal. So I've marked it. I'm going to chop it in half. And I want to kind of show you guys. I did mark it in half. I marked the halfway point, but it's such a wide mark that I don't know exactly where halfway point is. So the easiest way to find that is to balance it. When you find the balancing point of something flat like that, that's the dead center. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but oops, multitasking here. It's actually on one side of the line I drew. So I have to, when I use a chop saw, I'll chop it here just to my right of this line here, which is probably left of center on camera side. So I'm going to chop this real quick, and then we're going to take and we're going to weld it to the top of the flywheel, and we'll press it out. We'll see if we can press it out. As you can see, I'm about 1/8 of an inch off, but I can live with that. Okay, so our goal here is we're gonna weld these to the flywheel, and because the flywheel is bent now, we'll weld this side up, tack it up nice, and when we put this side on, we're gonna have to get the level out and level it. Because if the crankshaft isn't square, right, this is a lot of tonnage. This is kind of a nasty press situation. This thing produces so much tonnage. If you're not square, you only get about a 1/2 degree to 1 degree of variance. Otherwise, parts start flying, and that's how people get hurt. So I'm not going to do that. So I'll get my welder out, and we'll start tacking this up. Alrighty, so before we get started here, I just wanted to take a second. More often than not, I tell people that when you see a crankshaft like this, right? More often than not, I'll tell people that you need to throw it away and just forget about it, right? There are several reasons I would condemn a crankshaft for those reasons. One of them is once the stator, more often than not, people break the stator taking these apart. My buddy did it the right way. I'm very proud of him. He did it the correct way and took the screws out and saved the stator. So that's one reason I would scrap it. Another reason, if this is a 1989 crankshaft, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't spend 5 minutes on it. Early 1989, Kawasaki had a run of bad crankshafts. The foundry, actually, hang on, I have one. Hold on, guys. Yeah, right here. I got one right here. So this is an 89 650 crankshaft here. As you can see, it broke just at the root of the hub. And you can see there's a cold shut or something right here where there was a flaw in the casting at the foundry, okay? Several thousands of these units shipped like this in early 89 before they figured out the race season started and they figured out that they had problems and they fixed them, and late 89 on up the crankshafts were fine. But so an 89 crankshaft, we don't mess with them because chances are they're, but at the same time, if you look at this, if this crankshaft survived this already, chances are it's not a 89 anyway. But we know for a fact it's an 87, which also means it's rebuildable. Okay, after 90 or 91, these crankshafts weren't rebuildable anymore, and the cost of rebuilding them goes up a couple $100 because this piece here is cast into the web, and because this here is, you can see over here on the inside web here, this presses out. Okay, that's rebuildable. So the questions are: is it an 89 crankshaft? No. Is the crankshaft worn out? No. It's low hours. It's a beautiful crankshaft, very reusable. It's not an 89. It's got the good parts in it, and the stator is saved. So with all those questions being answered positively, we have to save this crankshaft. You can't even buy these crankshafts new from Kawasaki anymore. And as far as I know, I think the last time I saw a crankshaft available from Kawasaki was like 2010. So we definitely want to do what we can to save these, whereas the flywheels are still readily available. Flywheels usually don't go bad, so they're readily available in the used market. So we'll go ahead and keep going. We're going to use a bolt to press this out. I'd prefer it be grade 8, but we'll if we struggle with it, we'll go get a grade 8 bolt. But this is what I have in stock. So we're going to weld the high side first. That's better. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. I guess this side will be level, huh? All right, well, anyway. Oops. Okay. Tag on it. Huh, okay. All right, I guess I need my glasses. Magnets are burning. All right. I got the plastic around the magnets on the flywheel. I got them smoldering, so hopefully they'll cool down a little bit. I'm not touching that. Okay. Yep, it's hot. All right. Whew. She's warm. All right. Now at least I can do the rest from here. Man, exactly what I did not want. All right, hang on. All right, let's see if I can do this here. I strongly dislike stacking stuff. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's okay, there it is. Well, okay. All right. All right. Okay, I got a strap in one of our rod ends so the crank's not going to fall to the ground, hopefully. Okay guys, I'm gonna walk out of the way here. The camera can take the hit, I can't. So I'm gonna walk away here. Alrighty. As you can see, we're at 5 ton, but on my gauge is usually down under 0, so it's probably closer to 7 or 8 ton. And it looks like it's falling, so maybe something's yielding. Probably my welds. But we'll something's gonna give here, guys. Stand by. Huh. Oh, it's bending. Yep. You see it? I'm sure you guys can see it bending here. Hang on. I was talking about. Okay, that, let's see here. Where are my pliers here? Something's bent and yielded here. Let's, oh. All right, I need something else. Let me go see if I can find something else. I'll be back. We're set up and we're a little squared away here. Oh, but we're not. Okay, hang on. Checking and cross-checking. Always cross-checking here. Okay. All right, now we're square. We're square at all angles here. Let's see what happens. Our pressure gauge is climbing a lot more rapidly, which means we got a way better bite on it. So I'm going to step away again, guys. Huh. Nope. That's a lot of weight. It's making me nervous, so I may walk away for a minute. But there's nothing's wrong, nothing's yielding, so I might go one more, but I need to get out of the way. So I'm gonna walk over here, get way far away from this mess. All right, that was 20 ton. I don't have the nerve to go any higher with that bolt. So I'm gonna go find a grade 8 bolt and we'll be back. So I'm pretty comfortable with my press, guys. you can see it's starting to swedge it down into the bolt hole for the crank. So I'm glad I stopped when I did. So I'll go get a grade 8 bolt and we'll try it again. Alrighty, guys. Went to Tractor Supply and got a 3/4 inch grade 8 bolt. So we're about to get serious with this. Parts are gonna fly at some point. Someone's getting hurt. Okay. Oops. Let's hope it's not me. All right. Let's stack some danger here. All right, we may get the heat back out, but for now I just want to see what we can do with what we got. All right, I'm out of the way. Huh, something's giving. That's very odd. Huh. Oops. All right, well. Weld has yielded. I guess we'll re-weld. Huh. All right. Oh well. All right. I'm gonna do it the easy way, I guess. This poor crankshaft is just refusing to give up. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll 180 it and then weld it, because it's obviously failed. And that was almost, that was 15 ton before it finally yielded. So, what the? All right, yep. We need some better welds there. All right, stand by. What's nice about this is once we weld it, it'll put so much heat into it that it should be easier to yield, I guess, maybe, hopefully. All right, now we got some heat in it. Hopefully we're not killing the stator. Let's see here. Bolt. That. Yeah, we got some serious. All right. Well, it's about time. Okay. Okay, guys. That was about 18 ton. That's double any other crank I've ever messed with. So I don't know what was welded on there, but it was in bad shape. It'll be interesting to see if the keyway was sheared and maybe welded that to it or something. But I'm gonna let this cool and clean up my mess, and then we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, we picked the stator up off the floor. It didn't survive very well. We got it pretty hot. So we're gonna have to replace these two pieces here, and we'll have to replace a little bit of wiring as well, but that's okay. Anyway, so we're gonna come over here and look at our flywheel here. Here's the magnet separations I was talking about. This is where you wanna drill. If you look and see, there's wide spacing of these screws, and then there's narrow spacing. And the narrow spacing is where the gap is on the flywheel. So if you split the difference on these two smaller, the closer gapped screws, and you follow this down here, this is where you'll drill your hole. Well, you can't see that, but that's where you'll drill, is between there. And that way you can stick a screwdriver through there and unscrew the stator. But, what is this? I'm seeing burn marks. Huh. There's the flywheel key, so the flywheel key didn't shear. So, that's interesting. Let's look at the flywheel, or let's look at the crankshaft and see what happened here. Yeah, see those burn marks there? That's burning marks there. I'm gonna have to, that's gonna take some explaining. Let's put you guys up here and we'll explain this. There's burn marks on our crankshaft. If you guys go back and watch the footage, you'll see that I clamped my grounding clamp to the crankshaft here. Now, I know better than to clamp your welding ground to, like, say, the cases. Let's say the engine was assembled and the cases were here, and you're gonna ground the cases and then you're gonna weld on the crankshaft, right? That's a big no-no in the welding world. You don't do that. The reason being is the ball bearings will arc the current across it and it'll weld the ball bearings into the races. And I know better than to do that, so we know not to do that, right? However, I did weld across the nose of the crankshaft and the flywheel. when I was welding these metal, ouch. When I was welding these metal plates on, I probably should have just tacked them on and then moved my ground clamp to these metal plates. Because as you can see, there's actually metal lifted up here. We actually had metal transfer. And I've never seen that. I've never experienced that before at all. The scarring on the crankshaft means the flywheel and the crankshaft, it joined metal. There was welding going on there. And that was a pressed fit, so I don't understand where the current was allowed to transition that metal. Don't know what else to say. It was a mistake, but the crankshaft is savable. We'll just emery cloth it. We may lap the other flywheel on whatever happens, but that I've never witnessed that before, and that's a learning experience, so I thought I'd share that with you guys, because we don't want that to happen, so we'll know that for next time. But it did yield, it did give up, and it did come apart. So now we can move forward with rebuilding the engine and putting new crank seals in this thing. So till next time, guys, thanks for watching.